Hey everyone, the dialogue here. So today I'm looking at Charles and Diana when they were together about 5 or 6 years into their marriage, looking at their body language even at that stage. So even Prince William is only 3 years old at this moment and Harry is a baby. Let's look at Prince Charles's body language when it comes down to the interviewer asking him about his role.
The world sees your partnership, the Prince and Princess of Wales, as a unique job. But what do you think the nature of your job really is?
So let's go back and have a look at Prince Charles and Lady Di. So even here you can see that he's fiddling with his cuffs, and what that tells me is that he's nervous. Oh, he's a little bit insecure about this interview. We've got Lady Diana and her legs are away from her husband and there's a bit of distance in between the two. So they're not as comfortable as they were when they first got married.
But what do you think the nature of your job really is?
The difficulty is, of course, that...
Let's have a look at that again in slow motion. And okay, he's quite shocked about that question, and that made him laugh. He is smiling at that because it's quite a shocking question, and he knows he's been judged at his role in the past about just being the prince. What is his role? And his smile came up, which shows a little bit of contempt.
The nature of your job really is.
The side. Yeah. And displeased with that, so that's why his tongue's coming through his mouth. Shock and moving away. His head is away from the question.
The difficulty is, of course, that I dare say other people may think differently from what we do, but...
And that's true.
I think the first and most important thing, really, is that...
Did you notice that? He put his hands together in a high steeple, so he's becoming more confident about his role.
It's not so much a job as a way of life. I think this is the central...
And right there with his jaw jutting a little bit, he's unsure. Even though he's got steepled hands here, they're covering each other. So he's feeling a little bit insecure, but overall he's feeling quite confident.
Feature of the whole thing. And
there we go. With the eyebrows going up like that, he's feeling a little bit insecure. So there's a mixture of body language cues going on here.
I mean, I frequently read things saying, why doesn't he get a proper job, or something like that. And
a little bit of contempt there.
I honestly, personally believe that...
Here we go. And I honestly, personally believe a little bit of fear, and we've got contempt on the right-hand side there. And now for Lady Diana's turn.
But ma'am, when you go out on your engagements, launching things and lunching people and so on...
Even there, so we saw there's a slight contempt in her mouth. She has a bit of a side eye, so she's not overly secure with the question. And right here, she's just wondering, should I release too much information or should I just go along with what is expected?
It is a great responsibility, but what do you feel your role is? What is your contribution?
I feel my role is supporting my husband.
And notice how she sort of moved her head towards her husband. Her role is to support the husband, and that's what she thought when she first got with him.
Whenever I can, and always being behind him, encouraging, and also, most important thing, being a mother and a wife. And
deep breath.
What I try to achieve, whether I do is another thing, but I try.
Okay, so we had that little grin that we've seen in later interviews where she talks about Charles's affair with Camilla. So let's go back and let's listen to that in slow motion, and we'll try and get the subtext here.
And that's what I try to achieve, whether I do is another thing, but I did try.
Okay, so the eye close, and that's like a dig. The subtext is she's trying her best as a wife. She knows it's not quite working because her husband has eyes for somebody else, which was Camilla.
Yes, but that's taking time because I don't want to dive into something without being able to follow it up. Nothing would upset me more than just being a name on a top of a piece of paper and not showing any interest at all.
So with her head on the side there, she's showing that she's interested in the conversation, and it can mean submissiveness, but also interest in the conversation. Showing her neck, so she's very feminine, and she uses her feminine charm just in the right ways. So this is the pre-wedding interview that Charles and Diana had. Let's have a look at their body language.
Your marriage. Oh, the most overwhelming and touching reactions.
Notice how he refers to Diana, and he does that a fair bit through this whole interview with Diana.
As far as we've been concerned, I of course went to New Zealand and Australia. There people were amazingly friendly and enthusiastic. And since then, all the times I've been around different parts of the country here, the reaction has been literally fantastic, and I've never seen...
He's probably quite shocked about that as well.
And such friendliness and overwhelming sort of generosity and endless cards and presents and just, I think, the most marvellous, warm, affectionate reaction, which I just find incredibly touching.
Even though it's incredibly touching, he still can't believe it. It's bewildering to him.
Lady Diana meeting so many people is still quite new to you. How have you reacted to this warmth and affection?
It's been a tremendous boost. And just a mass of smiling faces. It's wonderful.
Quite emotional.
And she does believe that too. Her eyes are up and her head is down. She's showing submissiveness.
Have you had to become very involved in that side of the festivities?
You notice that he's fiddling with his fingers, and she does every now and then. Now look at her. She's moving towards him. He is like got the stiff upper lip, so to speak, straight up and down. She is leaning towards him. She wants the support of her husband to be, but she is turtling a little bit. So that means that she's sort of moving in on herself because she's feeling insecure. And remember, she's only about 19 at this point.
Not so personal involved, but I tried to...
Looking down at his finger, that's showing his insecurity.
It's really personal, family things as well. Have you been able to put in any small personal touches that will still make it very much your day?
Have we been able to put in any small personal touches?
I think by inviting...
As you can see there, let's have a look. That look, we can see that Charles is figuring out what to say. He doesn't know. So he pushes it on to Diana, and he's looking towards her. His mouth is closed. He's fiddling.
Have you been able to put in any small personal touches that will still make it very much your day?
Have we been able to put in any small personal touches?
I think by inviting one's friends and all people who've helped us.
She does a good job of backing him up.
Yes, it must have been enormous fun actually putting together a guest list of
Yes.
people.
Well, I don't know. Because you have a
Camilla's coming.
certain amount. You have to sort of take a few people out or whatever.
A few people out. We've got little thumbs running together here and a little bit of contempt. Let's have a look at that again.
You have a certain amount. You have to sort of take a few people out or whatever. It's been quite difficult on my side anyway.
She moved her head towards Charles. It's like, Charles, you get that? Don't bring Camilla.
It's been quite difficult on my side anyway.
But I very much wanted, from my point of view, to have
And notice how Charles gets all mumbly with his words. He's fumbling around.
as many people who I've known in the Navy and university and the Air Force.
I find it a very daunting experience that now you're about to marry the Prince of Wales.
It is, but I've had a small run-up to it all in the last 6 months. And next to Prince Charles, I know I can't go wrong. He's there, but...
Okay, so we can see Prince Charles's face looking down and all somber. That's not a good look when you're just getting engaged to the most beautiful woman in the world.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
Let's look at that in slow motion.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
And look at that look from Lady Di. She can't believe her husband-to-be said, whatever love means.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Now she looks down and she takes a deep breath because you're talking about being in love with someone. And we've got Charles who's completely embarrassed. And he closes his mouth and licks it because he's displeased with the question.
Whatever in love means.
because he could be in love with somebody else. Oops, apologies for yelling at you just then. But this is the dialogue. Thank you so much for watching my newest video. Please like and subscribe and ding my bell. Also, I have my Patreon page, which you can see in the link below. Thanks for watching.